Yeah, this is a news from Access to Justice Communication Limited, a YouTube channel on Access to Justice TV. It's a case of a landlady, a 67-year-old landlady, police net and also eventually charged to court for allegedly stealing from tenant apartments and for illegal ejection. A 67-year-old landlady, Mrs. Iyabo Odumoso, has also went into major trouble in Lagos State for allegedly breaking into her tenant apartment, packing out his properties, and along the line, 500,000 was stolen, allegedly stolen from the apartment, according to the complainant. This report, Mrs. Odumoso has been arrested for conduct likely to cause breach of public peace, illegal and stealing. This incident happened at Adeyemi Street, Daramola area of Orisubari, Shasha, Lagos State, where the tenant, Mr. Femi Adetobo, rented an apartment. According to the police, the landlady had a disagreement with the complainant, which is the tenant, who is her tenant, and she asked him to pack out without giving him proper notice to quit. Please note, the landlady asked the tenant to pack out from the apartment without giving proper notice. The tenant ignored and told her that if she wanted him to move out from the apartment, she should serve him a proper quick notice, as we always educate everybody here. However, on the 4th of April 2023, the landlady, Mrs. Iyabo, reported broke into the apartment of his tenant early in the morning and forcefully packed out all the properties inside the apartment and took possession. The tenant later came, saw what happened, went to the police and reported the matter. The landlord was arrested and detained at the station for interrogation over her conduct. During interrogation, she admitted to have done so because the house belonged to her and she asked him to move out because but he refused. Of course, we should know that that is purely ignorance. The police find her culpable and subsequently charged her before a Jugu for alleged magistrate court for alleged offence, which attracts several years of imprisonment. Of course, you know. She pleaded not guilty in court when she was arraigned. The prosecutor, Super Benedict Aigo, then asked the court to give her a date for hearing since she pleaded not guilty to enable the police to prove that she actually committed the alleged offence. Presiding Magistrate Mrs. K.O. Ario granted her bail on self-recognition with other condition that she will meet and adjourn the matter till 4th May 2023 for mention, which we are going to be there. Lesson to be learned. We have we have created so many avenues to educate landlord and tenant. Of course, our members know all this. We have members, of course, you know we have membership, and the benefit the members also take from the office or the organization as a member is being educated on tenancy matter or any other issues that they should be aware of, because anybody can come up to treat matters the same way we are doing outside you being not being a lawyer or not a lawyer and all that. One, before you evict or ask your tenant to vacate his or her apartment as a landlord, first you have to serve your tenant proper quick notice. What is proper quick notice? Proper quick notice if your tenant is a yearly tenant. Yearly tenant as in the tenant is paying his or her rent yearly, and the payment is outright, not instrumental. Outright as the tenant want to pay, he or she paid full amount of the money as a yearly tenant. For instance, if your rent is 200,000, your tenants pay 200,000. at bulk, and you issue the tenant receipts for his or her rent. And every year, the tenant renew his or her payments such way without instrumenting it, either by paying 100,000 6 months or thereafter pay 600, I mean 100,000 after 6 months. Such tenant is entitled to 6 months notice if your tenant is a yearly tenant that pay his or her rent outright and yearly. If you want to evict such tenant from your house, you have to serve the tenant 6 months notice. Your 6 months notice must be served while the rent is still running. You can serve when the rent is to expire 6 months time, 7 months time. So you serve the tenant this month while the rent is still yet to expire 7 months to come. And the tenants have to spend 6 months at the end of the 6 months, because you have notified your tenant either you want to make use of the house, or the tenant is troublesome, or you don't want such tenant. Whatever reason you are giving, your notice should not be less than 6 months. If your tenant is a yearly tenant, you serve the 6 months notice. If the tenant did not comply, you serve 7 days notice. If he did not comply, then you apply owner's intention to take over property. That can be done from court after you must have served your tenant 6 months and 7 days. Even at that, you don't reserve the right to throw the tenant's properties out of his or her apartment. It's solely the courts that have such jurisdiction right to do that. And if the court decide on your case, the court will have to appoint people that will have to come from the court to come and execute such order in the house of the tenant, certainly not the landlord or the caretaker. If your tenant is a 6 months tenant, he or she is entitled to 3 months notice. You serve the tenant 3 months notice. That is the notice have to read from when the rent is yet to expire in 4 months time. So you serve them to the fourth month, and the remaining 3 months will be full months, like in end of fourth the month you serve, and you count from the beginning of the first, second, third month. It must complete 3 months for the tenant to vacate the apartment. If that is not done, you take law into your hands. You pick a pin out of the tenant's apartment. You are going to find yourself in prison, except the magistrate show mercy on you. Otherwise, you will test. If you have never tested cell before in your life, you will test it, because police will get you arrested for breach of privacy or whatsoever. Whatever the tenants alleged you, have it at the back of your mind that police will get you arrested and investigate the matter first. And if they are convinced of the tenant or the complainant's reports, you will be charged before the court. And if you are unlucky to meet magistrate that will not consider giving you a second chance, of course you have to go to correctional center, and you find yourself in prison with joke. So tenant, landlord, have it to your ears. Don't go into your landlord apartment to pick anything, engage fight, or go into your tenant apartment to pick anything using taking law into your hand by feeling you are the owner of the building. For that reason, you can throw the tenant's loads or anything out of the house, even if he is owing you 3 years. The best place you can approach is court. And whatever he or she is owing you, the court will compel the person to pay his or her standing before leaving. Otherwise, some also serve jail term if they did not comply with the court order. So please don't do that, because Mrs. Iyabo just escaped testing prison few days ago because the magistrate was lenient and the prosecutor also speak on her behalf that she should be given time for a proper investigation by police while she come on the 4th of May, which we are going to be in the court to observe the hearing, how it's going to end. So please try as much as possible to avoid such. One, 500,000 allegedly stolen according to the complainant. It is possible and it may not, it is not possible. Once you go into somebody's apartment without permission, the person can allege you of anything, can declare anything missing. So I believe the magistrate feel the tenant just decided to allege the person or whatsoever he or she uses our discretion to just grant her bail on self-recognizance so as ordained to appear 4th of May. So thank you very much. This is Access to Justice Communication Limited News. Thank you. We'll be back in a moment. One my K, how you doing? Gabriel what? I can't pronounce this name. To Yohembo. Yohembo. Okay, it's like I will not pronounce the T. Yohembo. You don't know? Yohem you Yohembe. Yohembe. Yeah, you paid me for pronouncing this Yohembe. Ah, good boy. All right, we'll be back in a moment, okay?